Ladies and gentlemen, it is the homemade. God. Sorry. Homemade broadcast live stream episode 455. My name is Will, and I'm going to bring in right now my own producer. So I got to do this slowly but surely, figure out how to do it. Turn her non existent microphone on a Hummel.
What's up?
I did purchase you. Big news is I talked to somebody who I trust, and they said, you got to do something about Anna's audio. And I said, I know. So I went ahead and purchased you a gift of a microphone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure, really. I was excited, and I was hoping that you would have it today. I put it in a one-day shipping, but unfortunately did not arrive. So next week, it's going to sound phenomenal. I'm assuming it's going to work like a charm. My big fear is that you're going to plug it in and it's not going to work. But I don't think
last time I did purchase a mic requested by you, and
yeah.
Yes. So.
See, you're depending on somebody with just as much knowledge about anything as you when it comes to this type of stuff. I'm learning. Remember my stepdad gave me this really nice camera. And I couldn't figure out how to use that. And then I got this new idiot-proof camera that seems to be working. It's been holding up so far, so that's good. And I'm a boomer with technology. It's pathetic and it's unfortunate because there's so much more that I would like to do that I just don't have the knowledge to do it. And I know you can look it up. You can do YouTube vids. You can figure it out. And it's just...
You just don't care enough. It's hard to...
It's not that. I care a lot.
Otherwise, you would do it.
Right. Okay.
I feel the same way. I'm not trying to shame you. I feel the same way. People start talking about different microphones and this, that. You're just like, who cares? I just want to talk.
Well, I like that. I mean, I do like this stuff, but yeah, you're right. I just can't I just plug and play here? I don't understand. Why do I need to learn all these things with electronics and all that? Like, that's not my bag. But I mean, it should be. I do find it interesting, but for whatever reason, I just can't get over the hump and just get myself to that point. It's like these videos that I do. By the way, head over to willsyoutube.com right now, and you can get I did a video last night, and I have to do it just like the radio, which is kind of good because if you screw up, then you just got to keep going and go, oh, I screwed up and keep going. Like, I know that a lot of these videos you can like edit yourself. And there's ways to do that. And I have all the programs for that. I have Adobe. And I just go I open up the program and I go, that's okay. I'll just do it a straight shot, a short video and go about it that way. So willsyoutube.com. I did a story about people are dressing up as Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween.
I did see that.
Yeah, some people are offended by that because we're offended by everything now. And I guess it was the mother of one of the people that he murdered. So anyway, you can go see that at willsyoutube.com. Do you have any opinion on that? Thoughts on real people dressing up as real people for Halloween?
Well, doesn't it depend on who they're impersonating? I know there's all sorts of rules, like white people can't be black people, but black people can be white people.
Correct.
This is what I learned. This is a Halloween social justice woke style. Ready? Rule number 1. White people can't be black people.
Mm-hmm.
Rule number 2. White people can't be anything other than white people.
Correct.
Rule number 3. Black people can be whatever they want.
Yeah, that seems to be right.
Rule
Now, what?
4.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know there's more.
People still can't be black people. No.
I'm sorry, did you say Asian people?
Yeah. Asian people still can't be black people.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't do it. No one can be black people. Rule number 5. No one can be black people with black people. Okay?
Correct.
Rule number 6.
There's more rules.
Yes, there's lots of rules. Rule number 6 is women can dress as men. Rule number 7, I don't know if men can dress as women.
Well, they do, but you can't do it as a joke. Like they do it. I don't know if you could be Mrs. Doubtfire anymore, for example, but you could definitely be like, I'm trying to think of a drag queen name, type of thing. You could do it in a serious setting, but not a jokey way. So
right.
If you put like
a RuPaul, I don't know.
If you put a mop on your head and put some balloons in your shirt and go, "Hello, I'm a lady," I don't think you could get away with that on Halloween. I think people would probably find that.
Rule number 8: no one can be Hitler. No one can be Hitler. No, not a black.
I don't know.
Hitler.
Black Hitler?
No.
Okay. All right. Those are the rules.
Now, what's coming to play is you just mentioned Jeffrey Dahmer, which is question mark. Can a black person be Jeffrey Dahmer? I would say that's in play. If a white person is Jeffrey Dahmer, no, unless that white person is a woman, then it is okay. Do you understand?
Wow. I mean, I kind of get it. I'm picking up on these things as I go along. Now, what about? But Jeffrey Dahmer was a white man.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Because I know some of the critiques was that he lived in a black neighborhood, so most of his victims were black, so they kind of claimed he was racist. And I talked about this in the video, spoiler alert. But I think it was Stone Phillips interviewing him on Dateline NBC, and he was like, "Listen, just so you know, I'm not racist. Okay, I lived in a black neighborhood, so and that's why I just lived in a black neighborhood. It wasn't based on race.
He was attracted to blacks."
Even then, in 1990, early 90s, early to mid 90s, it was still the worst thing. Like, he was killing people. He was a demon, and he was just like, "I'm not a racist demon."
Because he was a woke serial killer.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Even back then. So there is some critiques on that, saying that the police department, based on their homophobia and racism, allowed these killings to continue. So some people are saying
racist if he was eating black people. I don't think so, because he thought they were delicious.
Yeah, I mean, that's one side of the argument. Certainly, yeah, I think it's reasonable and valid, as much valid as the other side of the coin.
Did you watch it?
I didn't. I don't have Netflix, so I don't watch any TV. The last thing I watched I did watch Beetlejuice, which was way different than from what I remember as a kid, but that was the last thing I watched. And before that, I can't even tell you the last thing that I watched. I don't have Netflix. I don't have any friends with Netflix, or at least willing to share their passwords with me, because I did want to watch Stranger Things 3, but it wasn't available to me. 4, I don't know, maybe it's 4. I don't even know if I've seen 3.
I watched 12 minutes of Dahmer of the first episode, and I couldn't handle it. I'm like, the first drill came out, and I went, nope. So, I don't know if you ever did this when you were a kid and or an adult, but when you watch something really disturbing or scary or like a haunted something or other, you need something like cartoons or something just to cleanse the palate, like something very light to kind of get your mood from scary and stressed out to just calm and baseline. So I went from Jeffrey Dahmer immediately to Lizzo's reality show, Get It for the Big Girls or something. So it was a bit of a transition, but I'm like, I need something light. Well, what you understand, levity. And I immediately put on Lizzo's reality series where she's looking for ginormous women to jump into a split on stage. So that helped me kind of, reach baseline again of just being calm and not being just freaked out that I was going to get murdered.
Yeah, there was I don't know what's the scariest movie you've ever seen in your life, but mine wasn't even I think a lot of people would be like, "Oh, Chucky or Jason or something like that." The scariest movie I ever saw in my life was
Inconvenient Truth.
No, no. That was pretty spooky though. Pretty scary.
Okay.
Definitely in the top 5. I
Yeah,
would say
yeah,
for sure. But no, it was this movie called A Fire in the Sky or Fire in the Sky. I can't remember.
yeah.
And
Heard of it.
haven't heard of it. Oh, it's scary. It's about the guy, supposedly based on a true story. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience at one point. Travis something or other, who was in Alaska and claims that he was abducted by aliens and he was gone for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they found him in a field nude in Alaska, and he survived. And he, kind of told his story on the podcast. But they actually they wrote a book about it, obviously, and then they made a movie about it in the mid 90s, early 90s. And in the film, they have a scene where the aliens take him out of his cocoon and his pod type thing and start to do experiments on him. And they have all the drills, much like Dahmer. They have all the drills, but the medical instruments, and the aliens are the scariest thing I've ever seen. Like, they look like little goblin demon things. Like, they don't look like the
Are they
gray.
green?
Um, No, it's more like a brownish gray color, but they look like monsters. It's not the classic gray version of the aliens that you would see with the big eyes and the big heads. And definitely what they didn't look like that. They look like little demons. And I guess they probably did that, on purpose. And since my mother was this was before my stepdad, so it must have been early 90s. She was divorced and didn't go on dates because she had some stupid child that kept her from doing that. She would just, there was stuff she wanted to do and stuff she wanted to see, movies, for example. So she took a 5 or 6 year old little William Koontz to Largo Mall movie theater, and we watched this film, and it scared every piece of poo poo out of my body. And I was so terrified that I was going to get abducted by aliens that for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, she had to actually be in the restroom, or not the restroom, the bathroom at home while I showered. And she had to sit on the toilet while I took a shower. It tormented me. And it's still to this day, not that it scares me, but I go, ooh, I can kind of picture how I felt,
Yeah. Well, you were
seeing that.
also a kid too, so
A
if you
sweet
watched it
little,
today, it probably wouldn't hold up. But as a child,
I don't even want to try. I've watched a clip on YouTube and I go, "Ooh, that's creepy." But I can remember how I felt like watching that. So it's weird that it's not like a slasher movie or something that was my most feared film, but this stupid movie about alien abduction from this man who was probably lying. He probably just got drunk and fell
yeah,
asleep in a hole in Alaska and then woke up a few weeks later. But I don't know. What was the scariest movie you've ever seen?
not very many. I hate scary movies. Probably like I don't know what lies beneath, The Ring. I remember when I was in 8th grade, we went to Blockbuster. I don't know if you remember that
Of course.
institution, but we went to Blockbuster, and I had four. There were four of us total. I had three friends with me, and they had convinced me that they had selected Minority Report with Tom Cruise. So I obliged and said that's fine with me, no problem. They put the movie in the DVD or VCR or whatever it was, and all of a sudden it was like 7 days, and I was like, "This is the ring!" And I just like completely lost it. I was so mad, and they all started like laughing and stuff. So it sucks. So I literally spent 2 hours with just like a pillow over my head, like intermittently like going like this, and then just freaking out. So that was pretty bad. This weekend, actually, I went to Savannah, which is the most haunted city in America.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And we went on a ghost tour. And well, I got so freaked out because I'm a child that I actually had to sleep in someone else's bed because I didn't want to be alone. So it was
Did you see
it was
something? I mean, ghost
no,
story?
no.
No, you just heard that it
No,
was.
they're just it just I didn't understand. I don't understand a haunted pub crawl. Like that doesn't add up. Like they'd be like, so these people were murdered in these chambers. Who wants a buttery nipple? It's like, no, I'm too terrified to have fun. And these people died horrible deaths. That's why they haunt the whole place. And then they're like, "Who wants a porter?" I'm like, "No, this is scary." So didn't drink. I maybe had like some stupid shot, but I was not aggressively drinking because I wanted to be as vigilant as possible in the event that something would attack me. Because they kept saying that these ghosts weren't very friendly, and in certain parts of town that they were actually very aggressive. So I just tried to make sure that I wasn't talking smack about these ghosts. Do I believe in ghosts? No, but I'm just erring on the side of caution. So when we got back to the Airbnb, I tried to go upstairs to bed by myself, but unfortunately, every time I looked into the mirror, I expected to see like a ghost man behind me. So I had to go downstairs, and I told the bride that I was sleeping in her bed, and just walked into her room and fell asleep.
So that's interesting, because didn't we have a conversation not too long ago that you don't believe in ghosts? I mean, you don't believe in, you're not a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ or
No,
Allah or any of them.
no.
So, but you're acknowledging that you believe in ghosts now, or you don't
No.
believe in them, but you were just irrationally scared.
Correct. And I also knew that I was just going to be on edge because I was going to be thinking about scary things. That in the event that, say, a sheet touched my foot or something unexpectedly, I would just be like, ah! And I wouldn't be able to relax to the point where I could go to bed. So I just wanted to be in a relaxed state of mind. And I knew that would only be accomplished if I was in the presence of other people. So usually I need like total silence to go to bed, but I purposely went downstairs in the bride's room, and right outside of her door, she and some of her friends were hanging out and drinking, and just the sound of their voices made me feel very at ease, knowing that the ghost would probably get to them before they got to me.
That's so weird, because you know in your mind that you don't believe in these things, but still there's some sort of overwhelming sense that maybe I'll get attacked by a demon in this hotel room.
Yeah, it was more just like I knew I was going to be on edge, and I didn't want to be on edge anymore.
Okay, but you're on edge about something that you know isn't real,
Right.
that you have no faith in whatsoever.
No.
Not even an inkling. Because I think this might mean that you may have an inkling. Like, I don't know for sure. So I'm going to
I don't believe in them, but I know that it gets me in a state of mind where I feel like I could. Like I feel like by asking me in that moment, you're almost like leading the witness, because you're asking me in a very alert, scared state of mind, whereas if you would ask me in a calm state of mind, in a more logical state of mind, I would give you more of a rational answer. But when I'm just freaked out, even if I see a movie about, I don't know, a serial killers actually exist. So whatever, alien abduction, same deal, where it's just like I'm freaked out. I don't believe that aliens are here to abduct me, but I'm in a state of mind where I'm not thinking rationally, and I would just like to be put at ease by being in the presence of other people.
interesting, because I wouldn't say I'm sure enough about anything to completely get on board with being like, yeah, this is fake. But I feel like if I was, then I wouldn't be afraid of it, because I knew it was fake.
Right. It also didn't help that the woman who was the tour guide was also sending us or showing us pictures that were sent to her by other people that had taken the tour. And some of them seemed to be kind of like, well, I don't know if that's a ghost, but you know, some of them were pretty convincing that there was, pictures captured of ghosts in a mirror or in a window. It was unsettling. And the fact that she said multiple times that she, along with other people, witnessed ghosts together. Now this could all just be a lie, of course, but the fact that she wasn't like, I saw ghosts one time when I was by myself here. She said there was a group of us and we all saw the same thing, and we all like freaked out together, and we all called the authorities because we thought there were people digging up graves in the graveyard, but really it was just like a ghost or something.
Spooky
So,
ghosts.
yeah, and also like it's at nighttime, you're in the graveyard, like it's just eerie. It's just not pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I get it. I mean, you're still like, you believe that people die. So I mean, like, that's kind of freaky in its
Yeah,
own
that's
right.
just unsettling to be like, ooh, like I wouldn't hang out in a graveyard at night by myself, even if I'm like, I don't believe in spirits or anything like that. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I was listening to that's one of the things that kind of freaked me out, obviously, and maybe it's from that film, A Fire in the Sky, that I watched. But aliens kind of freak me out, and idea of them, I go back and forth of whether I believe in it or if it's like just some sort of government psyop where they want you to kind of believe that maybe it's aliens, these
But
ships,
really,
but it's
it's
really just
like
the government.
the military or,
Yeah,
working on some new stuff they don't quite want you to know about yet.
correct, correct. And they had this guy on the Joe Rogan Experience today or a couple days ago.
Oh, Ryan Graves.
Yeah, yeah. Did you watch that one?
No.
Okay, so he was
It's hard.
he was he was kind of chit chat. I'm like, is this guy just like a plant? Like, I can't tell. Like, is he
Yeah.
bringing all this stuff up? I
Maybe
mean,
pilot or something.
yeah, he's a government official, so it's like there's motivation for him like to potentially lie about this stuff. And he
Yeah.
didn't really say anything either. He just talked about his experience of seeing these things on radar and trying to get to the bottom of this and getting to the truth. And it's like, I feel like with conspiracy theories, there at least has to be a motive there. And there definitely is a motive potentially to not be truthful about these things. But also, you'd have to be like Bob Lazar, too, same thing, because he was allegedly worked in these government facilities. He was hired. Government kind of says no. But then you go, well, maybe it's the same thing with him, and there is incentive there because he is uh, an operative. He worked for.
He's not some random dude, so people think he's credible.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, it was pretty wild. I never saw these. They were talking about these ships that are allegedly like a cube in a sphere. It's like a clear sphere, and then there's kind of like this gray dark cube inside of it. That's an interesting new thing I learned about. I saw some footage of it. It's pretty weird. I don't know what to make of it. I'm more confused now with all this information that we do have access to and people that are able to kind of gather and talk about stuff online. And I'm more confused now than I ever was in my entire life. I really
Well, I
don't
think
believe
that's the
anything.
point.
Yeah, I really don't believe anything. And that's kind of a bad place to be too, because you just kind of you know, lose hope. Like, did you hear this story about they don't even think the universe is real now? It's they did some experiments, some physicists. It was something with quantum entanglement, way too high IQ for me. I'm trying to figure this out, but essentially it has to do with the universe isn't locally real, and that means that I guess you kind of have to be looking at it in order for it to be real. I think that's right, and it
Yeah.
kind of lends
I know
credence.
that I actually know exactly what you're referring to. It's a part of quantum physics, and essentially it's like everything is energy and even of matter, like 99.999% of material matter is just energy. Because the thought is like, all right, well, what are you made of? You're made of atoms. What are atoms made of? Subatomic particles. Well, if you look at an atom, like it's not like we thought it was when we were in grade school with like the nucleus and then you put the toothpicks in. It's really just like this nucleus and then just like what seems to be just an array of electrons, but you can't really see where they are. They can only really come into vision when the observer is looking at a specific spot, and as soon as they come in, they're away. So it's like as soon as your brain processes that it's there, it's not even there anymore because there's
Yeah,
in the past. So essentially everything is just made up of energy.
yeah, yeah.
So
There's
I
this
think that's kind of where you're going with that.
Yeah, there's this guy Donald Hoffman who's been working on this. I think Lex Friedman or something had him on one of his shows, and his theory is that somehow that we're kind of wearing like a virtual reality headset, that our senses are creating this augmented reality, and this experiment that they won this prize for seems to lend some credence to that too. More evidence for this whole thing not being as it seems, at the very least, if not, quote unquote real. So that's kind of freaky. That's all this stuff that's in real life is way more scary than any slasher film, I think. Um, Mike from St. Pete says that joke's on you, Anna. Not only are ghosts real, but they are actually invisibility cloaked aliens observing humanity, tying it all together.
Good to know.
Gareth says, I'm looking for Busch Garden Hollow Screen tickets for Saturday the 29th. If they're not free, I can bargain. Comment, Anna?
Does he think we're giving away tickets?
I don't know.
Garrett,
I think
we don't have anything at all.
Anna doesn't even have a microphone.
I have a microphone.
She doesn't even have a dang microphone. No, Garrett, I'm sorry. We don't have any tickets to give away. If you're able to help Garrett with some tickets for free, please go ahead and reach out to him. His name's Garrett Forsythe, so I appreciate it. And he says, first time gold star listener, my man. All right, terrific. I will go buy you some hollow screen tickets right now. Mother Trucker George, he's checked in. He said, next time.
Mother Trucker George, it's been a minute, buddy.
He said, next time buy a hog mic. I don't really know what that means.
I've bought so many mics and they've either not worked or not been compatible. So we'll see how this one goes.
Listen, this one, that's why I was trying to figure out what kind of connection you did have you have a lightning cable. I got one that only has a lightning cable. So, I mean, that's the only way it hooks up. So I'm hoping to God that this works. Hopefully you'll have it very soon, at least by next week. Darthalica says, love the show. Love you. Thank you. If you have ghost stories, I would encourage you to please leave them. I think we got one more show before Halloween. I'd love to do like a spooky episode.
Do we?
That's yeah, I don't even know if that's true actually. Yeah,
no,
we'll have a live stream on.
No, you're wrong. No, you're right.
Of course I'm right.
On the 20, I forget like how deep into the month it is.
Yeah, it's going
26th, rapid. And then we actually have a shower that we're attending.
Yeah. When's that?
The 29th, 3 to 6.
Oh, spooky shower. Like that. Yeah, so we're gonna do a Halloween centric episode on the 26th. So if you have any spooky ghost stories, anything like that, 813-693-2124. But until then, Anna, Fat Chicks, thoughts?
Love them.
I know you do. I saw this story and they're.
Is that a woman?
Yes, I believe that they identify as female. I believe she's a heavy set person. I believe lady. I believe they identify as a lady. And this article I saw, it kind of gives credence to everything's like real life's just a joke now. Real life's a comedy sketch. There are many examples of this. I really should catalog them. But this talks about I guess overweight people. They call it larger bodied people here in articles. I guess that's the appropriate nomenclature now for fat chicks that have a disease known as anorexia. Now, if you don't know what anorexia is, it's a disease where people essentially starve themselves and they get too thin, and obviously that's not good, and people die or they look weird. They look like a crypt keeper and they have body dysmorphia, so they think that they're fat when they're really not. But this lady claims to have this disease, and it reminded me of this shirt right here. Oh, I got to do that. Let me remove this. Present, share screen. I got to find somebody to do this for me. You can only do one at a time too, which is unfortunate. Stop that one. It reminded me of this, Anna, and I think I sent it to you earlier today, so this isn't really going to surprise you. But let's see.
It's a classic.
This guy, it reminded me of this person,
right,
who beat anorexia.
God bless him.
And it blows my mind. Now, I guess it makes sense, right? It's called atypical anorexia, so it's not the normal form that you would see, obviously. But apparently people look, I know there's ways, like you could have insulin resistance where you can it just makes you hold weight. You could have a thyroid condition that can do stuff to you. But these are conditions, physical conditions. But they are claiming that this is a in the what is it called? DSM-5. DSM-5. They put it as a mental illness where you can apparently be, normal weight or I guess even overweight and have anorexia. That seems insane. How
I
can that be?
I guess. No, actually, no. Yeah, no, no. Because
I'm
I'm
trying to,
thinking like if you fasted for like a week, but then if you fasted for a week and then ate 50,000 calories in one sitting, I think you're gonna have enough nutrients, you know, to
yeah,
sustain
and
life.
so that's must be what it is, where they go, I'm gonna just not eat because of this. In the article, the article claims that she went into the doctor. The doctor tested her and said that she had very low electrolytes. And then they asked what her relationship with food was, and she said, "I don't eat food." And they said, "Oh, you have anorexia then." So I'm thinking what happened was she must have just been on one of these,
Fast.
stints where she just wasn't eating or drinking that much, and then went into the doctor's office because it's a body. I mean, it's a machine, and it needs to be
Nourished.
nourished. And obviously, this person is getting nutrition and above the normal amount because she was pretty a large bodied individual, as the New York Times would say. So it's kind of I don't know, clown worldy. I don't even know. Academia is so corrupt and has been taken over by ideology that
Right.
they just put these things in there, and you go, well, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And since they're credentialed and have these, well, I'm a doctorate from Harvard, and I say that this is real. I'm an expert.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, I can't really fight that. I'm a moron. So, but I mean, you can't even trust your own eyeballs now.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like you could say a person is not eating and you could classify it as anorexia, or you could classify it as someone who's fasting on purpose, right? And I think also, if I'm not mistaken, anorexia is categorized by like you said, body dysmorphic disorder, where essentially you think you're fat when you look in the mirror but really you're stick thin. Now I feel like this person who's anorexic, I don't think they have body dysmorphia at all. I think that their reality is perfectly in sync with how they view themselves in the mirror. So they see fat, and in fact, they are fat. Now, if you have someone who's 60 pounds and 5'4", then you have an issue. But this person seems to be completely in line with reality, in the sense that they are trying to lose weight because they think they are fat, and reality suggests that they are in fact correct. They actually have better insight than someone that actually has anorexia, because they are in fact fat. So I
It's
think I think that the brain is working perfectly in this sense.
it's it's very confusing. It goes against any sort of logic or rationality that they would have anorexia and be pretty overweight. It just makes no sense. It says here that evidence from a study conducted at the University of California, San Francisco,
Right.
the eating disorders program suggests that atypical anorexia patients are equally likely as anorexia patients to develop secondary side effects, including a decreased heart rate. Um,
Good.
you
That's
could
the
stop your
point.
you could stop your menstrual period and have electrolyte imbalances. But couldn't you fool the study by just, not eating during the period of the study? Like, I want to know how long the study lasts. Because if you do it for 6 months and you're not eating and you're still overweight, like, that's impossible. There's no way
Yeah.
to do that. So
And
I would
here's
like
the
to know the
thing.
variable.
And here's the thing. Being that obese is way worse than all the side effects you mentioned. Like, not having a period isn't good. Yeah, I had issues with that as well. I screwed up my bone density, blah, blah, blah. But also, let's talk about all the problems with being overweight, not overweight, but obese, and all of the health conditions that come along with that, including all cause mortality in regards to your metabolism, insulin resistance, cardiac, metabolic disorders, so heart attacks, all that sort of stuff increases like 5, 10 fold when you're obese and your body's trying to work overtime essentially all the time just to keep you alive. So all of those things that you mentioned about like electrolyte imbalance, yeah, have like a little bit of Gatorade or some whatever, some powdered electrolytes, chug that down with some water, and you will be fine. Getting rid of the weight, honestly, and this is pretty unpopular to say, but getting rid of the weight, kind of however means, is the most important thing when you're that big. When you're
Mhm.
classified as like super obese or something where you're, I don't know, 80 to 100 pounds overweight or more, the most important thing is to get that stress off of your heart, essentially.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
there's
diabetes can be reversed in some cases, but the main issue is the stress on the heart, because you
mhm.
only got one, and when that
Right.
one goes to S, like you're not going to be in line to get a new heart when you live a horribly unhealthy lifestyle, because people are not going to want to waste that heart on you because they know you'll trash that one as well. So the most important thing is getting that stress off your heart.
There's there's so many weird things that kind of tie together too. I was just thinking like there's the healthy at any size movement.
Yeah,
There's and
true.
obviously like reality would go, well, if you have more weight on your body, you're gonna put more just gravity and just that extra weight is gonna cause your organs and your heart, which is a muscle, to work harder.
Bad
And that
for your joints, like back, yeah, everything.
there's so many things that it's bad for. But then we look at the story where they're like, yeah, the universe might not be real. So and you just go, okay, well, touche.
Yeah,
Maybe they are right. I don't
yeah,
know, but there seems to be like there's no anchor that you can kind of put down now. Like everything's up for grabs. That everything that you thought you knew, it's like, nope.
yeah.
In fact,
Giannis
it's the
Papas said
opposite.
that. Giannis Papas
Yeah.
said the truth is up for grabs, so just say whatever the hell you want. I do it all
Yeah.
the time now. I don't even feel bad.
I
I'll
don't
just
even
I'll just
know.
be like, study show, and then just say something on the air. And
You
they're like,
can
what
find
studies? And I'm like, you look it up.
right. That's what people do. And there's probably some out there
Of
that you could,
course.
you can rationalize anything that you really say,
Absolutely.
even if you know it's fake, because like I said, academia has been corrupted, everything's corrupted. And it's like, now you're even into, well, the universe might not even be real. So you might not even have a heart. So what the hell does that mean? And so you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Okay, touche, I guess, but it's getting a little
Hmm.
hard to live in whatever we're in. It's getting a little tedious. Because like I said, it's not even that it's what you thought was true is not true. It's actually the opposite is good. So it's good to be, 500 pounds. No,
Right.
no, it's okay to bring kids to, sex stuff. It's fine. By the way, that's not me saying that. I'm just saying
Right.
like people have said that.
You know, I've been listening to a lot of red pill stuff lately when it comes to culture, especially when it comes to like feminism and stuff. I find all the like manosphere stuff pretty interesting. It's kind of like this guilty pleasure of mine, because it's just men trashing women, but like it's the women that I also like to trash. So it's just fun to listen to. And I like seeing the women like get triggered, but they get all wrapped up in like what men should do, and he should be making 400K and all this stuff. But as soon as they flip it on them, they like don't have a response, and like that's very satisfying to watch. um but one of them kind of brought up an interesting point about how this is all kind of like an outgrowth from feminism, is just this ability for society to make women get out of any bad situation. So there's essentially no accountability on behalf of the females. So it's like, for example, you marry a guy, you don't like him, you walk away from the marriage, and you walk away with, alimony, even if you don't have kids, and he's paying you whatever your lifestyle. Some and Joe Rogan's talked about this. A friend of his got married, and the guy's still paying alimony, and they were divorced like 12 years ago, and they don't even have kids together. But that's just how the system, is in favor of women. And then if they do have kids, then it's like alimony plus child support. And then it's like, oh, you get pregnant and you want to have the baby. Oh, well, you have to drag the guy in, and he has to pay child support. Oh, you get pregnant, you don't want the baby, then you just get an abortion. And then it's like, oh, you're fat and gross and no one wants you, body positivity. Like every way, like women are insulated, because there's no body positivity for men. Like no one's like, yeah, you go, dude, who's 500 pounds and bald and gross with man boobs. Like, who's championing that guy? freaking no one. Those girls who are like, yeah, I'm hot at any size, they're like, ew, I wouldn't date that guy. He's 5'4" or whatever, you know? So there's no
Right.
body positivity for men. It's only for women, really. So it's
For
like
sure.
any way you look at it, women are insulated from any sort of accountability. Like I can do what I want with my body. I can be 500 pounds, and you better find me freaking beautiful. And I want a baby, and you better pay for it. Okay, now I don't want this baby, and I'm gonna kill it. Like you can do whatever you want, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome.
But it's perceived as, the other side of that coin. The argument would be that, they're victims and that they're oppressed. And it's like everything's the opposite,
I
or
know
many
it's
things, at least
beautiful
the way it
marketing.
actually is.
It really is amazing. It's like, oh, you caused this. Well, now you're the victim, and you're like, oh, I'm the victim. Oh, that's so much better because then I don't have to. I don't have to take on any of the blame. And the other side of the blame is responsibility. So now I don't have any responsibility. It's just how it is. So it's kind of great. I like it.
There's by the way, the treatment for for this atypical anorexia, guess how they treat it?
Eat.
You eat. You get an extra 100 to 200 extra calories a day. And that's how you treat this problem, where they're obviously a larger bodied individual, and don't all rationale says this is, you should be doing the opposite. You should be cutting out 1 to 200 calories a day. Nope, you're fat and you're anorexic. So there's no freaking anchor to agree on anything. And then there's always excuses too, like this one. Guess what? Air pollution is making women fat, according to
Well,
this.
it is.
Somehow it doesn't have the same effect on men, but women it does. It says women who are exposed to poor air quality, specifically higher levels of fine particles such as nitrogen dioxide and ozone, have seen increases in their body size. What's that saying that correlation does
It's
not
not
equal causation? It seems like this is a easy example of that, right? I mean, what other factors are involved here with this stuff? But it's just like, no, this gives me the outcome that I want. So I'm just going to go ahead and publish this, and then some academic, dumbass, takes a lead and goes, yeah, this sounds good. This is what I like too. This portrays my victimhood perfectly. Like it's not my fault. So I'll just run with this too, and then it gets spread around the internet, and then they go, due to air pollution, I am a fat anorexic individual. And
I
it's just,
like it.
and then it makes people's heads explode. And
I
then
like
we
it. I think it's perfectly reasonable.
sink into a black hole or something. I don't know where this goes from here, but it's not going to be a good place. Certainly. I don't know. 813-693-2124 is the voice and text line. willspodcast.com, audio only version on iTunes and Spotify. Now, if you want to do the audio only version of the show, I would say go to Spotify and iTunes and put in HMB radio. That's short for Homemade Broadcast Radio, HMB radio, all one word, because there are extra benefits to subscribing to that feed, like the extra YouTube vids. Maybe you're not a YouTube watcher, and they'll go right to your feed. You can download them, click them, enjoy them. And I'm going to do those whenever the Johnny B show isn't on, which is when the Tampa Bay Lightning are playing hockey. The Johnny B show will not be on the air. So that taking advantage of doing that. Hopefully I'll have a new one on Friday as well. And
when's the next game?
Next game's Friday.
Oh, okay.
We had one yesterday, Tuesday night, and then Friday night this week.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll have a new video out on Friday about something. I don't know what, but I'm going to try to keep it Halloweener, because it's so close. I love themes. I like that personally. Anna, I know you got to go to karate class pretty soon.
You have to go to karate. Hiya!
How are you doing? Have you got a new belt or anything?
No.
Okay.
I have 4 stripes now. I think I'm getting better, but it's hard to tell if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
I'm telling myself I am, because otherwise I'll end it. But you got to just keep going. I'm like, I can't believe I'm this bad after this long. But you talk to people and they go, it takes a while to get better. So, and it's fun,
Yeah.
It's fun to get a black eye every now and again. So
does your gym have air conditioning, or are you one of those crazy like
yeah, it has air conditioning.
okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, today it would be
It's
beautiful.
hot and sweaty. Don't get me wrong, but it's well ventilated. So
Yeah. Yeah. I woke up today and it was freaking freezing
I know
outside.
it's fire.
It's weird too how like Floridians react to the weather. You know, I know this is something that people have pointed out for a very long time, but everybody's bundled up. Like I'm going outside. I have found the balls to run shirtless. I'm not really proud of it, but it's just it works for me. So I get out there, I get my headband on, my shorts, my long socks, and that's normally how I run. And usually when in normal Florida heat, people look at me with disgust, but they're like impressed with me today that I was in my gear and they're all bundled up in winter coats. Like I got homeless men giving me the thumbs up, like, well done, look at you, freaking polar bear over here. And I'm like, yeah, do my thing. Because then it gets too hot. Like if I wear a hoodie or even a long sleeve tee, halfway through I'm dying. I'm just sweating and I'm uncomfortable. It's cold sweat. So I just go, I'll just suffer through the initial push. And it's much better than the alternative. So okay. Well, Anna, thank you so much. Again, willspodcast.com. Subscribe at hmbradio.com. Homemade Broadcast Radio. Subscribe, give it 5 stars, and we'll see you. Well, I'll see you on Friday here on the YouTube channel. And Anna will be here next Wednesday with a microphone. Very excited. Bye, Anna.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye, everybody.